Okay. Welcome to more Genshin Impact. Today, we are at least going to do this Narzitz and Croy quest. Please stop saying new. I hate these little exclamation points you do not understand. Mail. A thank you letter. Sick. I have so many Primogems now. We are so set for Navia. Unless I lose my 50-50. I'm so jinxing myself by saying that, but you know. It is what it is. Oh, off screen, I had enough fates that I got for free on this, so I got a Tignari somehow, even though we had just gotten a Kaching. So back to back. It's always nice. And now I have C1 Tignari, which is very exciting to me. I like Tignari. But yeah. That's pretty much the only thing that has happened off screen. Other than me like exploring randomly in Fontaine. Without further ado, let's go ahead. That's not what I clicked, but sure. Let's go ahead and get into this quest, which is the only world quest I have right now. Return to the Narzitz and Croy Ordo. Great. Can I just teleport here? Oh, sweet, I can. Thank you. I do not want to have to, like, remember how to get here. It would not have happened. Okay, what am I doing here? Hi, people. Ah, yes, not voiced. I see. Night Storm, Paimon, you're back? You bet we are. Have you found anything new in the meantime? Mr. Caterpillar and I have been doing some research. Oh, and? We've discovered that Seymour doesn't in fact have an annihilation mode. Following data fragment sorting, this phrase was found to have been derived from the novel Prisoner 6, Overrun. That sounds like a fun novel. In that book, the World Organization launched a mass annihilation agent to hunt a chimera down. Okay. Wait, that stuff's not important at all. Apart from using our free time to go out and investigate, we've also read through books collected here one more time. And that was one of them? Okay. We couldn't make heads or tails of them at first, and even now, well, they certainly are well written. I don't know whose handwriting it is, or what scribe or copyist was hired, but their penmanship is clear and clearly beautiful. A master of calligraphy, if I ever saw one. Oh, you meant well written as in, like, physically the handwriting is nice, not that the content of the book was good. I see. Wait, so you were talking about the handwriting? Paimon's got a bad feeling about this already. Did you not find anything during this time then? Alright, sorry. I shan't jest any further. As you know, we told you all that we found the last time without holding anything back. However, I fear that this time there are some clues hidden in details that we must rely on chance to reveal. Chance? Indeed. For example, if no further revelations concerning a murder emerge, then the blood on a painting will always remain a red smear. Then what would this chance be, Caterpillar? Well, why don't we do a quick recap of everything we've discovered? Good, because I remember nothing. Let's make some deductions regarding what happened in the past. That might give us the opportunity to fill in some gaps that can help us support or refute our views. No. That's a good idea. I've always felt like there's so much about this that's familiar, but I can't recall anything about it. Don't be one of those, like, head cloud things where I have to pick which word goes with another word. I hate those. Negative. I can give a continuous account of the resources that I have sorted. Silly dog. Didn't you only recover your creator's name after talking to us about the matter? Mechanical noises. Negative. I merely matched similar sounds during said interaction. There was no data loss involved. However, I must append that I, too, find that keyword searches make searching for entries more efficient. So, what do we want to discuss? Let's just move this convo along here. Well, for a bit of a warm-up, or a teaser, if you would, you may be referring to a heater. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. So let's start off our deductions with something simple. What is the Mary Ann in the Anapausis exactly? Huh? That Mary Ann holds the greatest secret of all. I'm sure you can see that too. Let's get ourselves some armchairs, maybe crack open a few beers. Oh my gosh, oh wait, you can't drink yet. Caterpillar. You can't say that while you're in the guise of a child. People will look at you weird. Although I guess I am also kind of in the guise of a child. The Traveler is definitely thousands of years old. Easily. Surely. Oh wait, you can't drink yet. Anyway, let us help you sort out our findings out. I'll start first. Well, the name Mary Ann itself certainly is familiar to me. The name of the person I was meant to protect is Mary Ann, yes, but I have no data regarding the identity of the one who resides within the Anapausis. We are missing context. I can only conclude based on a human's unmodified lifespan that they are not the same person. That would seem to be the case, huh? It's been a few hundred years after all. Bro, that means nothing in this world. Well, as for Paimon, she ate chicken mushroom skewer this morning. How is that helpful? Well, guess it's my turn. You mentioned before that you encountered oceanid creatures that had a great deal of character. One might say personality, even. Ah, we're talking about the board that thinks it's a dog. I see. The precondition for such creatures and their characteristics is the same, that an intelligent oceanid has already understood their original forms beforehand. So, were you the one who willed those creatures into being, Anne? Don't you think that's kind of weird? You know, summoning familiar friends to play house with you for who knows how long and stuff? Wow, Paimon is so judgy right now. How is this any different from an imaginary friend? Anne is just more talented and can make them physical. Well, I didn't do that. I actually had to get to know Petite Choux, Al, and the others first. Well then, in that case, let's see what we can deduce from the things we already know. Okay, then let's begin, I guess. Huh? It's already starting? No, it is one of these word bubbles. I hate everything. The name Mary Ann. Anne said the name sounded familiar. I should ask her about it. Should something come to mind? Okay. To Seymour, she is someone that he must protect. Either way, ordinary humans don't live that long. It's been several hundred years, so they're probably not the same person, right? The Mary Ann and Anapausis. Ooh, it got gold. Surely that's a good sign. The Mary Ann and Anapausis seems very mysterious. We once suspected that Anne was a character from her dreams. Okay. What Paimon ate this morning. I don't care what Paimon ate this morning. Chicken mushroom skewer. At the risk of missing major plot twists or important foreshadowing, I don't think this is related to Anne's background either. Good. The oceanid creatures in Anapausis. Oceanids are sentient creatures unique to Fontaine, and they can create oceanid creatures through mimicry and transformation. I remember all the strange and wonderful oceanid creatures we saw before we met Mary Ann. Ooh, a new word. There are oceanids in Anapausis. Maybe Osile can create water creatures. Oh, Osile. We haven't done anything with Osile in forever. I honestly thought Osile would become a weekly boss, and then when he did not, I was kind of sad. Anyway, but it's extraordinary to be able to imagine creatures with rich personalities. It's almost certain that there's an Oceanid in Anapausis controlling everything. Who can she be? About Anne. Anne is a small Oceanid. She didn't create the Oceanid creatures in Anapausis. Speaking of, just how do Oceanids reproduce again? Mitosis? The Oceanid Anne. Anne's far too weak to control the whole realm, so she can't be the Oceanid behind it all. Associate. That. No, that can't be. Rip. That. Okay. It's not Anne. It's definitely not Anne. I believe her. She is also searching for answers. Okay. The enigmatic Mary Ann. Mary Ann, who has the same name as Seymour's owner, and who seems to know everything. Even if she's not an Oceanid, she's probably related to the Oceanid behind all of this. Interpret again? Submit a conclusion? Okay. We got there. I think. That's enough for now. More than enough for a warm-up. That was just a warm-up. No, don't do that to me. Correct. The oddities in Anapausis all point to the power of Oceanids. But this is not Miss Anne's doing. All of this together means there's another Oceanid in Anapausis. That is what I suspect, an Oceanid with whom Mary Ann has a close relationship. Or perhaps she could even be the princess herself. Do you mean to say that Mary Ann may in fact be Princess Lyris? Yes, Lyris, the Red Empress of the Narzitzenkroy Ordo from back then. The Red Empress who loves to take heads. Take heads? Everyone's gotta have a hobby. You know, for some people, it is playing games like this one. For other people, it is decapitation. Be like that. I seem to have a vague recollection of something like that. Whoa. But it's not a story about Lyris. Rather, it's a fairy tale about someone named Mary Ann. Yes, the taking heads thing is just a metaphor. Lyris is made of pure water, and so has the ability to dissolve and extract people's wills. I don't understand how taking someone's head is a metaphor for dissolving someone's wills. Very poorly designed metaphor. Caterpillar. I liked it better when she literally decapitated people. The Narzitzenkroy Ordo used her to extract the ego and become holy. What? Searching for the keyword Lyris has yielded relevant information in my indices. Talking of the Red Empress has reminded me of a few things about Mary Ann. Mull that over a while first, then speak to Miss Ann and Seymour. See if the conclusion you reach awakens any new memories. Oh God. Collect more leads and gather your thoughts. Hi. Shall I summarize the entries regarding Lyris I possess to you? Okay. Omitting the standard citation format, reconstructing output to match format, report to superiors. Lyris is a registered Oceanid. Oceanids have to register? Okay. She is not eligible to be stationed in the waters outside Fontaine and has become a special source of information for the nation. She was appointed as the director of an orphanage to symbolize the love and affection of the previous Hydro Archon. The orphanage's affairs were mainly managed by its human vice director. An orphanage director. Then how is she connected to the Narzitzenkroy Ordo? As director, Lyris was very affectionate towards the children and quite devoted to them, but her intelligence among Oceanids was below average. She wasn't very good at working out the cause and effect of things, nor could she even count. As a result, she was not qualified to perform covert investigations. Sounds like a big old cat mom who can't count. You know, because cats can't count, so they pick up their kittens one by one and keep going back until they see there aren't any kittens left. Later, the orphanage was destroyed during the calamity, and official records of her stop there. Bro, my cat can so count. She gets 5, I hope she's not listening to me right now, treats at night that like help clean her teeth or whatever. And if she gets less than 5, not good, man. Not good. She knows. She knows. Anyway, later, the orphanage was destroyed during the calamity, and official records of her stop there. They say she failed to understand the link between the disaster, the orphans fleeing, and her own conduct. So she wanders the ruins, drowning in guilt and expectation. I have an underwater locomotion module. Once Marianne and I dove down to the ruins of the orphanage, whose coordinates were the same as those of Anapausis. There we found an Oceanid swimming sadly in circles. When she next appeared in the records, she was a core member of the Narzitzenkroi Ordo and the subject of a high-priority arrest warrant. Oh, but she doesn't seem like a bad person. Considering that she may be connected to Anne, she must have been tricked. Ah, yes. There's another important piece of information worth noting. The orphanage's name was the Narzitzenkroi Institute. Narzitzenkroi, there's that word again. These are all Marechaussee Phantom files that Mr. Alain Guillotine recorded for testing light sensitivity while designing me. The output is via my image to text to speech module. According to eyewitness testimony regarding who I suspect to be Lyris, there shouldn't be any problems. And you may have heard of this elsewhere, but it's worth mentioning again. Elaine and Marianne were orphans in the care of the Narzitzenkroi Institute before the Marechaussee hunter Emmanuel Guillotine took them in. Oh, thank you, Seymour. Don't mention it, noble madam. Okay. We're learning stuff. Night Storm. I've remembered the name Mary Ann. Oh, do tell. Spill the tea. It's familiar to me because it's from a children's story. The same one that the Red Empress comes from. The female lead, Liddell, was mistaken for Mary Ann the servant, and Mary Ann never appeared throughout the entire story. Maybe Mary Ann never really existed, except as a figment in someone's dreams. How do you know about this story, Anne? And isn't that a good question? How do I know about it? The memory feels more vivid than those I have of the story of the evil dragon Narcissus. That's all you had to say? Okay. Hi. Paimon feels like you've changed a lot since we met in the Fortress of Meropide, Caterpillar. Would a 5-year-old child and a 15-year-old teenager be the same? Perhaps returning here simply reminds me of the past and of who I used to be. Time is frozen in the fortress. Being locked up there for a day or 100 years, I'm afraid it made no difference to me. Lenore is what made time flow for me. Watching her grow reminded me that time still passes and life is still being born, shining brilliantly, and then being extinguished. And so I changed as well. That said, my past self, the person I was before I met her, would certainly be more helpful to Anne and Seymour in our current situation. That's true. Don't be like that, Paimon. Just think about it. Making up stories for Lenore was nothing more than putting such ways of thinking to good use. Regardless, it has nothing to do with the current situation. You look like you still have questions, Storm. Since we have our own suspicions about Anne and Lyris' relationship, we have topics of discussion that can be used to refute or sustain those conjectures. How do Oceanids reproduce? We're about to have a birds and a bees discussion. I'm sure you have friends more knowledgeable than I am regarding that. Perhaps you can even find scholars of natural philosophy who have dedicated research to the question. Or you could have asked the Oceanids you know personally, but you asked me. Honestly, this is probably the less awkward choice. Of course, I know what you mean, so this is your speculation? I see. Paimon doesn't get it. When we exchanged information earlier, Storm mentioned that Anne is the person in Mary Ann's dream. Or perhaps she might be a manifestation made by Mary Ann, an Oceanid. Oceanid? Why the repetition? Are you just trying to make it sound cuter? Apologies. Perhaps my description was ill done. Still, can an Oceanid create an Oceanid creature version of an Oceanid? Wow, that's deep. That's like asking if hard candies can be used as the filler for another hard candy. So, what would you say to that? This question's really interesting, but Paimon's already hungry for answers. I suppose I'd have to say... Still, you may not realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes, so let me explain. Do tell. You might be confused as to why there are Oceanid creatures with personalities in the Anapausis. If Oceanids can create Oceanid creatures, then can they create Oceanid humans or Oceanids? Convention dictates that it's rare for Oceanids to be able to mimic a human unless the human drowns in their arms, or the Oceanid has spent extensive time with the person and knows everything about them. And the Oceanid in question must also have tremendous wisdom and compassion. I'm afraid perhaps only one as powerful as Rodea could do it. Wow. So that means Idea must be incredibly strong. So it's rare to mimic humans, but not impossible. Now, creating another Oceanid, that's different. Creating humans using human knowledge can only be achieved by gods, and the same applies to Oceanids creating Oceanids. It usually should be impossible, in this world at least. Unless this human or Oceanid has already placed themselves above their own kind and attempted such insanity. You mean they thought they had become a god? That's right. Followers blindly believe in their leaders, who in turn blindly believe in themselves, giving rise to delirium and delusions. I can do what a god can do. Their deeds are not that great, after all. A powerful belief is also a powerful will, and magic is a skill that molds reality to your will. Perhaps Marianne doesn't consider herself an Oceanid? Perhaps. It's possible and quite understandable too. If nothing else, the Lyris I know doesn't have this kind of intelligence, nor would she be this crazy. I have some less mainstream ideas about how Oceanids reproduce. Man, hold on, I need a drink. I cannot talk today. Okay, I have chugged my coffee because that's going to end well for me. But anyway, I have some less mainstream ideas about how Oceanids reproduce, but they're not important, and we can discuss them later.